you're a mortgage professional, how much should you know? Our answer is a lot. Like, I mean, I don't have an economics degree. I don't even have a business degree. Like I would talk about this, I personally suck at math, like the high level math. This industry taught me everything I need to know about economics. This industry taught me everything I need to know about personal finance. And it's all the same tools and resources you'll have at your fingertips. It's like if you're a loan officer, which would be Jimmy and Travis and Alex, like when you can do this, you should look into paying your $179 a month for mortgage, MBS Highway. And that is Barry Habib's proprietary company. There's MBS Authority, there's Rate Watch, there's other maybe less expensive but similar, just so you can just start understanding what's going on, so then you can speak to home buyers and realtors from an expert level. But yeah, interest rates shot up. It was expected to happen. I mean, they're still super cheap. The problem is you just have to get the consumer to catch on. So what typically happens with consumer behavior is when rates drop from 3.5 down to 2.75, if I told this first 2 or 3 weeks that I could give someone 3, they're like, oh my God, that's amazing. Because they hadn't called up that no, rates are really 2.75. Right now, they haven't called up that rates are no longer 2.75, they're 3.5. So then we have to walk them through it. Well, hey, let me walk you through it. Who's the biggest lender in America? Anyone? They're all over the freaking TV. Yeah, Rocket Mortgage. Rocket Mortgage. If you ever want to talk to a consumer about where rates are, like, look, I just give you an idea. Don't take my word for it. The biggest lender in America is Rocket Mortgage. Let's go to the website together. Let's pull up their rate sheet. If you did so, you'd see that they're quoting 3.375. All right, so to anyone who's not in optimal blue and you're not pricing out loans, you're like, don't know what that means, don't really care what that means. Just know that's 0.5% higher than what we were quoting people just 3 weeks ago. So 0.5%, here's a rule of thumb I'm gonna share with you, a little rabbit hole. What is that? Like, how would you describe that to me?
1/8.
Yeah. Anyone disagree that's not 1/8? No? Check this out. What if I moved my decimal to the right? What would you call it? If I move my decimal over, what does that look like? 12.5? 12.5 what?
Basis points.
Anyone disagree with Tyler? Basis points. Yeah? So we're all mortgage professionals. This is some of the terminology and some of the language that we have to be able to start understanding and speaking. That 1% equals 100 bips, not beeps. If you say beep, I'm gonna kick you out of this organization. On the west coast of the United States, they call them beeps. We call them bips, or basis points, which is spelled this way. Someone's gonna have to redirect me in a second because I know I'm going down a big rabbit hole for you. All right? We're talking about interest rates and Quicken in 3.375. All right, so anyhow, something you all should know that when we talk mortgage lingo, we're talking 1% equals 100 basis points. So if someone says, my commission plan's 100 basis points, how much do they make per loan that they originate? 1% of the loan amount. Yep, so a $200,000 loan equals a $2,000 commission. You see how I did that? 1% of 200,000 is $2,000. Yep. So, but we use the term basis points. A basis point means something. It correlates to something. So 1% equals 100 basis points. So therefore, 0.5% would equal how many basis points? 0.5% is 50 basis points. Right? So just understand that when you start hearing it, you heard it here first, and you can try to start understanding it better so people don't confuse you. Right? Because I can say 1/8, I can say 12.5 basis points. They're going to mean the same thing. 3/4 is point what? 0.75, or how many basis points?
75.
Yeah, 75 basis points. Look at Tyler go. Look at that, 6 months. I promise you, we literally grabbed him off a golf cart. in Twin Rivers. So he wasn't this smart just 6 months ago. Okay, so what I was talking about with interest rates going up, you're going to see on Quicken's website that their 30-year fixed interest rate, that's their interest rate. Okay, give me 2 ways that you could quote that interest rate to me. Well, you can just start with, what is that, 3 point what? Yeah, so ma'am or sir, today's interest rate is 3.375. Who wants to geek out for Asia, unless you want to geek out, and speak to me like I'm a mortgage professional? Hey, Dio, man, in order to win this loan, I need to quote X. I need to quote 3 3/8. Yeah, because that's more how our brains work. Yeah, it doesn't really work. Oh, I need to quote 3.375. No, 3 3/8. At which point I'm like, oh my God, what's that going to cost? You're like, hey, it's going to cost 62 basis points. 62 basis points. Is that more than 1% or less than 1%? Everyone agree it's less? Anyone think it's more? I'm going to look right over here. Is 62 basis points less than 1% or more than 1%?
Yeah.
Less, yeah. It's 0.62%. Right? Of the loan amount, yes. Of the loan amount. Yeah, realtors get paid off a sales price. We get paid off a loan amount. Which is always, realtors are like, oh, I got a great one for you. They're buying 400, they're gonna put 300 grand down. I'm like, that sucks. We get paid on loan size. Or like a realtor is like, oh, this one's great. They're an investor. They own 17 homes. I'm like, yeah, and they're buying a $150,000 condo. They're going to put 50% down. I'm like, I don't want the loan. Like, what do you mean? When I hear 17 properties, there are 17 properties. I, as an originator or a loan partner or a processor, because all 3 of us get to do this, we have to go document all 17 properties. Are they owned free and clear? What are the HOA dues? What are the taxes? What are the insurance? Think of how fat that would be, and we get paid on loan size. No, thank you. Let someone else go do that. All right, so Quicken Loans is going to, on their website, is going to say this. They're going to have one of those on there, an asterisk. And it says legal disclaimer. So I scroll all the way to the bottom, and the legal disclaimer tells me this is assuming a $200,000 purchase price, a 74.96 LTV, and that. How many basis points is that? Not Tyler. Can you read my handwriting? Yeah?
175.
Yeah, good job, Lou. 175 basis points. What does this mean to the consumer? It means to the consumer that in order to get this rate, they have to have, and they had a credit score on there too of like 760. So let me just put on here 740 FICO. Okay, so I'm getting out of y'all's way. So on Rocket's website, they quoted this rate, they threw up an asterisk, then they made all these assumptions. If you actually clicked on the hyperlink that took you to what the asterisk means, the asterisk says, assuming a $200,000 loan amount, assuming, let's just call this a 75% loan to value, assuming you're going to pay, how many basis points? 175, and you have a 740 plus FICO. Using this as a scenario in dollars, like Randy Moss says, cash money, homie? Like, in cash money, that's what he said. Straight cash, homie. There we go. Thank you, Eric. To get this, how much in additional closing costs is this consumer going to have to pay for this interest rate?
$3,500.
Yeah, I don't have a calculator. That sounds good to me, Cam. Yeah, good job. It is. You do it in your head?
I just do it.
How much you say?
3,500.
Cam and I play that game some days. We throw out a scenario, and then she gets her calculator, I get my head, and we get to see who's closest. But yeah, it is.
Plus 50 right now.
1.75% of 200,000 is telling me the consumer has to pay 175 basis points, or 1.75% of the loan amount in order to achieve this interest rate, assuming they're putting down 25%, assuming they have a 740 credit score. I'm going to circle back to this, but I have some math we can still play with. What's the purchase price? So do 200,000 divided by 0.75. $266,000, that'd be your purchase price. So if you ever need to back into a purchase price and all you know is the loan amount and the loan to value, you divide your loan amount by the loan to value. A good way to talk to consumers is having data at your fingertips that you can use to back up your claims. Something we're going to talk about on the call today at noon. I like to use Rocket Mortgage because very rarely are we ever worse than them. And they are the #1 lender in America, bar none. So it's great when we talk to consumers and we're like, look, I can compete with the #1 lender all day long. And I'm going to share that with you because it's not a secret. You can go to better.com, you can go to Costco and get cheaper mortgage rates. You just can. But we're not trying to compete against them because you also don't get service, professionalism, experience, communication, a human being that'll actually show up to your closing if you want them to. You probably also don't get 3 options, nor do you get financing tailor-made to match your specific financial needs, wants, and goals.